This is the best way to get better at soloing. I started doing this many years ago, and really right from the start, it started transforming my ability to improvise and solo. It's something I have all my students do because it works 100% of the time. And in the modern day, it's so easy to do this. I don't know why all guitarists are not doing this. What is it? It's very simple. All we're gonna do is record us soloing and watch it back and analyze. See what worked out well, what didn't work out well, what could we have done to make it better. Analyze all levels of it. Also analyze what you did that's really good that you need to keep doing. So not only are we going to analyze the bad things, we're going to analyze the good things so you can make sure you do the good things more and you change the bad things to make them better as well. So I'm going to walk you guys step by step, literally what I do. I improvised over this backing track a few days ago. I actually posted the full improvisation on my YouTube channel. You can go check it out. And we're going to watch through and I'm going to just show you what I kind of notice and what I want to make my own improvements on in my soloing. Now there's a couple criteria that I did wrong off the bat here. Usually I recommend you know the backing track very well and you stick to the same backing track for a couple weeks or months as you're kind of working on your soloing ability, because it's really important to know the chord progression and also the overall movement of the song so you can kind of prepare your soloing and phrases over that. I didn't do that. I kind of just hit record. This is actually my second take. Usually I only do one take, but this is my second take, so I was a little bit more familiar with it, but not fully familiar. Also, I never learned the chords. I was just using my ear, which is something I want to develop, but I highly recommend if you do this, learn the chords first. It's going to really help out, and also the overall arrangement so you can kind of know how things are going to flow in and out. Second thing I kind of did wrong is this is like a 5.5 minute solo. I recommend starting from like 30 seconds to maybe 2 minutes long, so smaller chunks. It's way easier to kind of analyze smaller chunks, and shorter solos are usually much easier to do better. And so you can come up with a game plan and be like, okay, I'm gonna solo for 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes, and I'm gonna really try to target these elements, throw these licks in, see how it works. When you're kind of jumping 5-10 minute solos, it's so long, it's gonna be boring nonetheless. So a couple things I messed up going on here, but this solo is in D Mixolydian, so that's the technical scale. But before we dive in and start analyzing, what I'm thinking is my bass is, in my mind, D minor pentatonic. That's my foundation. It's just D minor pentatonic. You know, D blues, I'm throwing in the flat 5 sometimes. Right? My next step up is actually not Mixolydian. I actually, in this context, it's every chord progression, every genre is a little different. But for this, my next step up scale-wise is actually Dorian. So I'm seeing Dorian going on. So which is basically, in this case, would be C major scale, but since we're resolving to D Dorian. Now, this song, like I said, is actually in D Mixolydian. The only difference between D Dorian and D Mixolydian is the third. The third of Dorian is minor, which in this case is an F natural. Mixolydian's F sharp, so it's up a half step. Right? So you'll notice in my improvisation, I got pentatonic as my foundation with the blues note, and then Dorian, and then often I'll be hitting that major third. That's really where I'm experimenting, and that major third is making the full Mixolydian sound, which is going to sound like this. Right? Dorian's going to sound like this. Right? And the only difference is right there, compared to, right, that minor third to major third with F natural to F sharp. So just keep that in mind. That's the scale shapes kind of going on here. And really the context, I just did a take. I'm restarting the track from the beginning, and I'm just trying to find my way. So it takes me a while to kind of get a groove going. So it's just kind of watch it and make some notes of what's going on, what's good, what could have been better. Oh, also, this is in the style of Michael Schenker, or at least I'm trying. I'm not Michael Schenker, but I've been trying to watch a lot of his solos and stuff like that, so I'm trying to take elements from Michael Schenker. So you'll notice some things that I'm trying to do Michael Schenker-esque things in here, especially with some of the bending that's going to happen. And right there, you notice I'm actually turning on some overdrive pedals. I'm turning my PXO on, a J-Rocket PXO, Phil X Overdrive. I think I turned both sides. I just wanted more sustain. That's what I was doing there. I felt that tone was not enough sustain. So that's a bend to the major third right there. So I'm really hitting that Mixolydian sound. Let's go back. So I'm grabbing the E note, bending up a whole step to F sharp. So that's that major third. I could have went, which is hitting that minor third, but I didn't. So I'm really leaning into that Mixolydian sound right there, which I like. All right, I was testing my bends right there. So I went to a major 6, bend to the minor 7. So I'm really outlining a kind of, it's Mixolydian, right? Now right there, let's go see, did I do a major third bend or a minor third on that A string? Yeah, I went for, I was trying to get for that, so I was really trying to lean into that. So I did a 2 whole step bend. At least that's what I was attempting to hit. Yeah, there you go. So I'm really trying to outline that Mixolydian. Also, Michael Schenker does crazy bends like that, so I was trying to do that. So really, that whole solo so far has been me trying to find what works, trying to get in the groove. I wouldn't say anything was that great. That was just kind of setting the tone, experiment, see what sounds good. This, I think, is where I start like actually trying to solo. So right there, that was the minor third, major third. Like anytime you hear that kind of happy sound, that's that Mixolydian sound coming out. Right, and we don't need to play the scale. I'm still seeing pentatonic as my framework, and if we see pentatonic as our framework, you know, D minor box 3 right there. Actually, I'm kind of in box 2, I guess. I do that bend. Just seeing the pentatonic and knowing your bends really well, you can target these modal sounds without any other scale work going on. Oops. So that's that sound right there. Is that minor third, F note, up to the major third. But I did it with my ring finger. So that was just pentatonic and then hitting the major 6 there. So I stepped out right there. Finally resolving, kind of giving that tonal center sound. Right, also keep in mind for modal sounds, you got to have that tonal center to manipulate that Mixolydian sound, because if not, like D Mixolydian is going to sound like we're in the key of G, which over this chord progression would be hard to kind of create that sound, but you got to really hit that tonal center to really give across that modal sound. So that's a great example there. Now that's Dorian. I'm seeing Dorian. That was a bend. See, I did that bend earlier to the major third, but now I'm phrasing to the minor third, leaning into more of the Dorian sound. See, that was all Dorian up until that note right there, and then I hit the major third instead. So there's this natural, as you see, my foundational, I got pentatonic, builds the Dorian, builds the Mixolydian. And it's not 100% of the time Mixolydian, it's not 100% of the time Dorian, and it's not 100% of the time pentatonic. So that's kind of how I'm approaching this. So I do a little, I'm not really happy with that run there. I feel like I see what I was trying to do there, but it was too much. I should have kept it more simple. Also, that run was more Dorian based. But it was all right. The cool thing is I think I landed at the right time on the right note. Yeah, I ended it good. I don't really like the run. I did too much, but it's fine. It's my Univibe, by the way, which is, what is it? It's the JHS Unicorn V2. Trying to have a counter thing, like a laid-back vibe sound going on here. Very pentatonic, maybe Dorian, so far. So it's all pentatonic, and then I hit that E note whole step bend to the major third, so I'm hitting Mixolydian for a moment. You could really also see this simplified as me playing D minor pentatonic here, and then just changing the D major pentatonic. So I went more like I was doing this before. Let's put the Univibe on. And then I went major pentatonic, D major. Back to, so that's really what's going on there. You don't have to see all these crazy scale shapes going on. That was just minor pentatonic to major pentatonic, and it creates that Mixolydian sound. So that was more of a straight up Mixolydian descending idea, I think on the D string. Yeah. So I was just walking down D Mixolydian on the D string. In this kind of laid back legato way. So that's straight Mixolydian scale stuff right there. Back to D minor pentatonic. All right, so let's analyze that. I wish I held this bend out longer. I kind of came in weak. I'm trying to hit these pedals on the floor. I don't like how I came in on that transit. Listen to the musical transition. It's like that laid back sound. But it's building up. I think that's all good. I think that was cool. That's cool. But because, I think it's because I'm trying to touch these pedals, I don't like how I transitioned. I transitioned to this part of the song very weak. It was very weak. Also, that bend, I wish I would have held that bend longer. That's the A note there, the 5, doing a minor third bend. So I'm bending to the minor 7. I wish I would have held it longer. But then I do something cool here, I think, as I lean into that major third for a moment here. I do that a lot sometimes, so that's the 9 bending up a half step to the minor third. Here in box 5, D minor pentatonic. Right? And then I do it again, but a whole step bend, which is to the major third. Right? Leaning into that Mixolydian sound. I'm gonna go back for you can hear that. Yeah. Just pentatonic there. Just I was forcing Mixolydian there, in my opinion. I should have just stuck. I was in minor pentatonic, and I wanted to step out. That was me being too much in my head and not using my ear and feel, I think. Blues scale pentatonic. That's me trying to, I've seen Michael do these kind of runs. It's really, really cool what he does. I'm still working on it, but it's just combining it's really weird. It's like Dorian, blues scale, Mixolydian. So basically what that means is you have the pentatonic, plus you're adding in Dorian, which is that major 6 and 9, plus the flat 5. So we had a bunch of notes. But then also Mixolydian, we're throwing in that major third. So we have this like joining of all these notes happening right there. I got a little wonky there, which this is a new thing for me. I think I ended it pretty well, but at the end of that run, I got a little wonky, but I'll get better at that over time. Like right there, I got a little. Again, so I do a bend of the D string. Then I grab the major third, getting that kind of sound. It's just leaning into that Mixolydian, but I'm still seeing pentatonic as my foundation. We're back in that box 5. Just Dorian though right now. See, that's all Dorian. Then I hit the Mixolydian. See how it's the tiering, it's like you have foundation, which is pentatonic, builds to Dorian, and then builds to Mixolydian. Mixolydian's usually just, in this case, it's a momentary sound. I'm not always, when the song says D Mixolydian in this case, I'm not always playing that. I'm playing pentatonic, then I'll build up to Mixolydian, or sorry, I build up the Dorian, then I'll build up to Mixolydian. the beginning of that run, I know what I was trying to do. I could do better next time. I got a little sloppy there, but it started off just kind of strictly Mixolydian action right there, and then it flowed into either pentatonic or Dorian. I have to look again. So okay, so it's Mixolydian. That's all Mixolydian. Major pentatonic, and then that's Dorian. Blues pentatonic scale right there. So it's just, there's cascading of scales happening. I get asked a lot when you're improvising, like, what's going on. Now, Mixolydian is the most tricky one because it's always these blending of colors, but that's really what's going on there. I actually really like this ending. I got really lucky that it worked out. And I really was just walking up with like this kind of bending, like Mixolydian, just on the B string, kind of with some bendy stuff. Let's skip ahead later. Running out of time, so I'm gonna get through this video. So I crack open the wah here. This is the last kind of die down part. This starts off, I'm actually really happy with how this came out. I feel like I was finding a good groove finally. Very straight Mixolydian with the wah on. I get a little off the path later on, but I like this. I think I did a good job. So that's us flowing Dorian blues scale right there at the end. That's all pentatonic. Dorian. I'm doing the old Stevie Ray Vaughan. Grabbing the minor second there. But I'm still seeing pentatonic Dorian. Slipping Mixolydian right there. Some Zakk Wylde. Missing some notes, it's alright. Mixolydian run right there. That's pretty much the whole solo. So a couple things for me to note is, don't force, even though the song's in Mixolydian, I don't need to force it all the time. I can just sit in pentatonic. And really with the runs early on is, I was pushing them too complex. I got to keep them more simple sometimes. The phrasing, I can just tell I was in my mind thinking about Mixolydian a little too much, and it affected my phrasing. And I think I should have been more listening to my ear and feeling it out instead of thinking about what's going on so much. But I think if you guys can see, Mixolydian's a tricky one, but there's this constant blending of pentatonic, blues scale, Dorian, Mixolydian flowing in that kind of sound right there. So that's what's going on, and all that's kind of based also is, you could look at it oftentimes as minor pentatonic, major pentatonic, and really getting good at overlaying these shapes. And seeing all those in each zone of the fretboard, all those options, and flowing between those. I think I'm pretty happy with what I did. There's a couple mistakes, a couple things I could have done better. I think overall, for this being my second take and not really knowing the backing track, I'm pretty happy with what I did. But that's my process. I go through, I analyze what I did good, what I didn't do good, and what I can do better next time. Next time I turn this on, I feel like I'll be so much better at it because of just analyzing, sitting back. We're not trying to, beat ourselves up and like hate our playing or something like that. It's because we want to get better. So every day, what I highly recommend you do is, you're working on a track, maybe 3 different tracks, maybe even, and you set out to do a 30-second, a 1 minute, a 2 minute long solo. I wouldn't do typically much more than that. And have a game plan, practice beforehand, hit record on your phone or something. You don't have to do it all high tech like this. And I recommend recording it, stopping at your kind of 2-minute mark, pausing the video, and listen back the next day usually is best, right? So don't listen. I usually think that's better, is to kind of have a fresh mind the next day and listen back and be like, okay, what did I do good? What could I have improved on? And then you'll also notice like, oh, I didn't think that sounded that good in context. Like when I was actually playing it, I didn't think it sounded that good. But now I know, oh, that sounds really good. I need to do that more actually. Even though it sounded weird to me in the moment, it actually sounds really good. And then, oh, I thought that sounded good, but it really didn't. And so it's the watching it back, it's like you learn so much. And you get to a point where in the moment you can almost tell like it's a different experience. It's hard to describe. You're almost a spectator and the player at the same time, and it's this great combo, and it really, really helps out. But this is what I recommend every day. If you're really trying to work on your soloing and your improvisation, sit down, know the backing track, have a rigid, consistent backing track for a few weeks or a month, and limit your solos 30 seconds to usually maybe 2 minutes. Watch it the next day and analyze it objectively, respectfully too, charitably, and make notes of that. And then after you watch this and you practice that day and you do another time, another round through it, and you analyze it again, you just do this every day, 30 days, maybe 30 days straight, and you have like your day 1 versus your day 30, and you'll be like, oh my gosh, I'm so much better by just doing this every day. So many people don't do this. It blows my mind. But you got to be objective about it. You got to be strategic about it. But this will just change your improvisation, your soloing so easily. It's going to be insane. So hope this helps, and I'll see you guys next time.